Okay, guys, we're running into the last 15 minutes of class, and so what I want to do is we have created a polygonal object, right, that we're going to be using as a floor. Now we're going to create a polygonal object that we're going to use as a roof. Okay? So the way that we're going to do that is we're going to kind of take this thing and we're going to move it away from the edges so that we have room around it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw this shape lightly onto there. Now, please bear in mind, I've got a good 2 or more inches around the whole thing. Okay? Sorry. So there's a few things that are important that you guys understand. We need to create a roof form. And the roof form has to be bigger than the floor form. It has to overhang. Okay? So we're going to go out past these edges by at least like an inch, maybe an inch and a half. So that's one of the things. Another thing that I want you guys to understand is that in creating the roof form, you do not want parallel lines. You want the lines to be non-parallel. Okay? You want them to be substantially out of parallel. So I'm going to, in order for the camera to see this, I'm going to go ahead and draw this with my ink pen. So this is the shape that I currently have. All right. Now, especially the two ends, you want those to be pronouncedly different. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really kind of alter this shape. See how big a difference there is between those two lines? They're nowhere near parallel, right? And I'm going to do the same thing over in here. I'm going to splay it substantially. Okay? The next thing that I want to do is, since this is a straight line all the way along here, I'm going to kind of put a buckle in it. I'm going to stick it out, and I'm going to put it opposite that. So I'm going to come out sort of like that. See, I put a bulge in where there was none. Okay. Now with this one, I'm going to try and change the shape of the bulge. So maybe I'll move it over to this side or something. So I'm going to kind of bring that up to about there. And then I'm going to kind of change this shape over like that. So you can see that I've got this outside form that is substantially different from the inside form. None of the lines match up. This is the closest one right here. And that's, so I can even change that by taking this line and moving it out a little bit. Okay? So I'm just going to go ahead and cut this thing out right now. And so there's the form. You can see how this one sits over it. Okay. Now, we're trying to create a roof form of this one over that one. And so one of the things that I think becomes important that we kind of understand is that we've got this ridge right here. We've got this bump up. And so when this roof needs to kind of fold down that way. I'm going to kind of take a look at a couple of the ones we had previously done. All right. And what we've got here is, in this particular one, we've got a situation where this and the line underneath it are kind of squishing down, and we're getting a bigger shape on either side. Okay, so that's one option, and I think that's what I'm going to sort of have you guys do. Again, this is lining up the way it was before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go from this point to this point, and I'm going to bow up, and that should put the line close to over top of this one. Not exactly, but close. All right? So in order to bow up, I have to cut on the back side, right? So make a little, I actually just flip it over and go from that corner to that corner. Okay, and so there is my first crease, and I've got this thing that looks sort of like a butterfly roof, right? Yes? We did a house for a client once, and they were Russian. And it was me and Evan Troxel and Hero, and we did this butterfly roof on the house, and every time we'd go out to visit the site, Evan would go, I just keep waiting for her to ask me, but why is the roof upside down? You know, she never did. Her name was Galina. So anyway, so back to the topic at hand. So I've got this sort of butterfly roof, and then I'm going to try and maybe create a couple of additional creases that will bring it down. Okay, so I think I'm going to put a crease from here to here and fold this corner down. So this one I'm going to do on this side so that it goes down, the opposite of the butterfly. All right, so there's one, and that's keeping the roof from getting way too high like it was, right? It's bringing the roof back down. And so now I got to do the same thing on the other side. And I think for now I'm just going to probably put a diagonal from here to here. And so there is my roof form over top of the other form. Okay? So I can sort of hold the two up together and start to see how they kind of relate to each other. All right? So this is your next logical step in this sequence, is to create this roof form. After we create the roof form, then we're going to start to figure out how to suspend it over top of the floor, and then we'll start to enclose it on the sides. Okay? So it is 3 o'clock. I've got a meeting I've got to run to down the hill right now. So I'm going to go ahead and assign you your homework. Okay? So I'm starting a new video.